Well, welcome out there once again to my program. My little hiatus from my show here at BCC is over as of tonight. And this is the day after the election in Fall River. Now, quite a race for the mayor, and we're going to get into that. Of course, we have the school committee, and that is fairly interesting. But city council also. But the mayor's race, well, pretty dominated, I guess, most of the discussion for a long, long time. As you know, the mayor was sworn in back in September or so of last year, if I'm correct.
December 29th.
December 29th.
December 29th. And he is noted as the recall mayor in the sense that he took over for Mayor Flanagan, who was recalled. So, after 9 months in office, the result of last night's election didn't bode well for the sitting mayor, Sam Sutter. And we'll get into that right now. But I'm glad to have you out there. I'm glad to be back. Gentlemen, I've got the panel show. Dan Robillard.
Richard,
how you doing, Dan?
good to be here. Welcome back. The panel is assembled again.
You know, it's been reactivated. Call to duty. Bob?
Richard, great to be here. You're like the Terminator. You're back.
A bad penny shows up all the time.
Oh, wow. Okay. We got CJ back, I can tell.
Hey, I got myself out of a hospital to be part of this mess. So,
So, would you get beat up?
no, I was septic. So, and I'm still septic, but I'm functioning.
Contagious?
It's the
No,
toxic
only if I
Avenger.
bleed all over you.
All right. Okay. Well, gentlemen, let's start off with the top spot. Any,
647 votes.
was that a surprise? Did you think it
Not
would
really. I mean, you had to believe it was going to be close,
Right.
Because look, he had a lot of money, he had a lot of people really pushing, and he had, he pulled out all the stops. He got the Amazon, and he played the Amazon card and the Harbor Mall card, and and all the, and give me a chance. I'm just getting started here. He pulled the Flanagan,
Woe is me.
I know, woe is me. I screwed up my entire first term, but give me another shot. So he did everything, and we realized, you realize that the race wasn't going to be a landslide in either direction, because Jazel, the other candidate, had some issues, his youth and things. Some people were kind of saying that, he's too young to be mayor. So it all kind of created this perfect storm where you knew it was going to be pretty close, but you knew the word on the street that the best way to get bumped out of office in Fall River is attack the pocketbook.
That's it.
Well,
and we spoke about this, though. We spoke about this. There was 500 votes, we said.
I'll bring the question to you, CJ, because I know you're
Chomping at the bit.
you're raring to go. Start off with Bob Correa, rainwater tax.
Yes.
Out the door.
Yep.
Flanagan?
Flanagan, Pages Road, out the door.
Household fee.
$10 apartment fee during an
Out the
election
door.
cycle. During an election cycle.
Out the door.
And I think he admitted that.
Yeah.
Was that?
He
one-
did.
That was the straw that broke the camel's back again. And the thing is
Where's
that
the planning? I mean,
that's the whole problem. That we don't plan in Fall River.
but if you're the mayor of the city of Fall River and you're running for re-election, you just got in, and when you got in, you only got 3 out of 10 votes, which is no mandate by far. And someone proposes that you issue an edict almost in regards to trash. You're going to give collect $10 from every apartment dweller. Where is the voice that says, don't do that?
Well, he didn't have any voices in his circle. That's the problem, Richard. He never really connected, and I don't think he really understood Fall River.
He never did.
He doesn't understand that the majority of people in Fall River, he comes from a fairly affluent family. He grew up in Connecticut. The people that he works with are all fairly affluent, and he seemed to be very blasé. I mean, his chief of staff said, what's the big deal with this thing?
It's $10.
It's $10. What are they? They're all cheapskates, deadbeats, and they actually were condescending about the people in Florida. They don't understand apparently that the majority of people in this city are scraping to get by, and it was a disconnect right from the get-go, and that was one of the things that, in addition to the fee, the straw that broke the camel's back, that was a thing.
Dan, let me put this to you. Was that fodder for the coffee shop talk, where people who go to have a coffee in the morning are going to talk about the $10 fee, and it never goes away. And the $10 fee dragged on for quite a long time.
Look, Richard, in my opinion, the $10 fee was the final nail in the coffin. However, as I've laid out over the last month, there's been a litany of reasons why Mayor Sutter was completely
Well,
disconnected.
give us a few.
Well, the household fee, taxes in the budget, hiring Lou Pacheco for 18 hours a week, hiring Joe Macy for 18 hours a week,
And how much did Joe Macy get?
approximately $90,000. Okay, closing the senior center and reopening it for political gain, closing the Flint Library, in one of the poorest sections of the city, and then on top of that all, being the least accessible mayor, hands-on to the average citizen in the last 40 years. All of that spelled disaster for Sutter, and that's why he's on the outside looking in.
Well
Okay.
said.
Yeah,
The
easily said, too.
senior center closure. What could go through someone's mind in the sense that here you have the seniors, they're all in that area.
5 buildings in that area that serve either elderly or disabled, which both populations qualify to access senior centers.
$40,000 savings, and it actually costs that much to bus
drive them around.
to drive them to other centers, and $40,000 in the scheme of things. And then this is, as Dan said, this is what the people got irate about. He closes a library for $40,000. He closes a senior center for $40,000, and then he gives Lou Pacheco $70,000 for working 18 hours a week, and he gives Joe Macy $90,000 for working 18 and a half hours a week. And you think the people are a little upset about that? There's a complete disconnect about how we spend our money and how much money we have. And those were his quote unquote cost-saving measures. He saves $80,000 by closing a senior center that services 5 buildings and a library in one of the poorest sections of the city, where the only computer access some of these children have are at the public library in the Flint. And then he hires a lawyer for more money than he saved.
Out of a budget of how many millions?
$263 million approximately.
263.
$80,000 savings.
Over $250 million.
That really tipped the scale.
Yeah,
Of
that
course.
was-
And on top of it, before he backtracked and reopened the downtown senior center, he decided to put trolleys on the road and shift them around throughout the rest of the city.
And
Right.
Seniors must have loved that.
You know,
What in a trolley?
the thing is that the history has been very clear, okay? Bob Correa got bounced, as you said, all right, and we had spoken before the show, for a CSO fee.
Didn't even make the primary.
Didn't even make the primary. Will Flanagan, pay as you throw. Now Sam Sutter for the sanitation fee. This needs to serve as a lesson for Mayor-elect Correa. If you are going to implement a fee, be sure what you're doing. But one of the things that people miss on this fee is that DOR has made it very clear to the city prior to this fee implementation. If Sanitation Enterprise Fund, which, by the way, was instituted by then Mayor Robert Correa, is not funded,
Never
is
has
no, right, it's never been funded. They got fed up with it. The law says it must be self-sufficient. And DOR said, if it's not self-sufficient and it's not funded, we're not going to certify your tax rate.
And furthermore, both the bag portion and the household fee are falling grossly short.
Right, and according to Ken Pacheco
Let me
today,
ask you this question now. The pay-as-you-throw, the bag
Yep.
Bag revenue's
Correct.
down, the household collection
Is there an
fee.
ordinance in place?
There
yet?
is now.
there is.
For about a month.
All right, so if you don't put your trash in the purple bag, you can be fined, cited.
Yeah, but nobody's been fined yet to our knowledge.
Right. The courts have
and
not
there's
upheld
still a lot of violations.
Right.
Those violations are being heard in the housing court to the best of my knowledge.
They are. And the housing court has not adjudicated anyone guilty on the fines. And that's the problem. The
In other
housing
words, So
court,
if you owe $100, we'll
as
say
the
a
housing
fine.
court just not
Dismisses.
responsible, and away it goes.
Yep, dismisses, goes and tells them to use the bags the next time.
Yep, use the bags, bad boy.
They're looking for compliance, that's all.
Not
Right.
punishment.
Right. And this is the problem, okay? And the entire city council is responsible for this.
So how
They
is that
drag
going to
their
be
feet.
resolved? I mean, that's an ongoing problem.
It's time to turn around and say,
It's going to be privatization. I
Yeah.
think that's what Mayor-elect Jazel Carrera is going to do.
but you know, the thing is that the city council and Councilor Correa approved these contracts, entered into exclusivity agreements, which tie the city's hands.
Councilor,
And the only way that the city's going to be able to get out of that is not to privatize. The city's going to have to say, property owners, it's your responsibility. Like is done in 90% of the country, trash is going to be your responsibility. The city needs to get out of the trash business altogether.
Well, those
Well, how are they gonna get out
exclusivity
of the
agreements are not actually, we saw some of those in the
Yeah.
trash report. They're not truly, they are breakable. But the fact is.
We'll have to pay
But
for
the
it.
fact is, to get back to the pay-as-you-throw, there is a state model on how to implement pay-as-you-throw. It's supposed to take a year.
Exactly.
And the problem we have in Fall River, and the reason it didn't work and will never work, is that we didn't take that time. We didn't follow that model to educate the people, to get them prepared for this, explain everything, put all the ordinances in place, and do it. What they did was, this was not about trash and about recycling. This was about money.
Money.
It was a tax.
and it was a football because first it was going to shore up the enterprise fund for DCM, and then Flanagan said it was going to shore up the fire department. So nobody knew where the hell the revenue was going. They just knew he was gonna implement it, and he made it very.
It always ends up in the fire department.
That's
Dan.
right.
You know, they always threaten to burn you to death when they need money. You know.
And the fact of the matter is, Flanagan said unequivocally that he was doing it with or without the council.
Yep.
But the council is absolutely responsible because when they voted for the budget, they voted for the program.
And there was
Period.
only one councilor who voted against that. That was Councilor Rigo. Every single one of the other 7 voted for it because Linda was undergoing brain surgery.
Counselor?
But now Councilor Rigo has proven that he voted against that budget because he was more at odds with Flanagan.
Exactly.
Okay, Counselor and Counselor Rigo, we'll get to the city, the council election.
You got the call third strike.
Yep.
Yeah. Called out.
Counselor
Caught
Rigo
looking.
is out.
Yep.
Was he a mainstay in regards to the budget? Was he someone that,
Was he a mainstay?
Chip, you have a name for him. What's that name again? I can't remember it offhand.
What, the sellout?
The name for
He
the
was one
three
of
of them.
Sam's sellouts because the previous year he went on he got on his soapbox and he talked about pay as you throw and how he was against it and blah 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 and he offered it and he made this great impassioned thing and I'm against this and everything looked good. Then the next year they've got pay as you throw and an additional fee and he goes, oh, we got to do it, babe, because his boy Sam did it. He proved that every action he took was purely political and not in the best interest of the citizens of Fall River, and that's why he got booted out.
And
It's that simple.
Chip, I think back to election night when Sam Sutter was elected, and I said to you shortly after, I said, now we're going to watch Danny Rigo, Ray Mitchell, and Linda Pereira, and they're going to do 360s on everything, and they didn't disappoint.
Yep.
That's exactly what they did.
And we've been doing this for a long time. We've been doing this for a long time, Danny, and we know that. But you know, one of the things that I think we need to look at on the city council race, when you look at the names of the new city council elects and
There's
the
no
re-elected.
surprises there.
There was no surprises, number one, but the voting block remains the same. The voting block actually remains the same.
And what's the?
Now, coming in number one was
Okay.
Sean Kadim, okay? The creator of the financial debacle Fall River was in 2 years ago. He comes in number one because the people of Fall River are stupid. They can't remember, okay? So then you got Sean Kadim, Cliff Pont, Linda Pereira, Richard Cabaceres, I'm going to throw into that voter block, Joe Camara, and of course, Ray Mitchell. That's a voting block, okay? These are people who have a tie. And these people, I can almost guarantee you
Why do
that
you
these
put them?
people...
Why do you put them
Yeah.
together? What
I
holds
put
them?
Ray Mitchell and Linda and Joe in. They're the old guard, okay? They've always worked together,
And you're saying they're going to vote
okay?
together?
And I think that they
Not
will.
always.
Not
Well,
Joe. I think
Joe's
Joe.
a
I think
wild
Joe's
card.
smartened
wild
up.
card.
Yeah,
Joe's a wild
Joe's always been a little bit of a wild
how
card.
about
Linda and Ray have always been
Together.
Right.
on the same,
Now-
I don't think they've ever taken a vote that was different.
And how about the two newcomers you just mentioned?
Well,
How do you-
when you look at Sean Kadim has working relationships previously with Linda, Ray, and Joe. Okay, so I think that he's going to work with these people because he knows how to
so
finagle.
what does that do for the new mayor?
Well, it depends on how well they want to work
The
with
mayor
this new
elect?
mayor.
Well, that's it. I mean, you think they're going to be a block against some of his
Well, let's see
legislation?
Let's see
we
what he
have to see
proposes.
We have to see what he proposes. I
Right.
think, the thing is, they're all starting with a clean slate. And the reality is that we can kind of project, but the fact is that, we got to give them their opportunity. Maybe this, I guess most people don't realize in about a calendar year, not a calendar year, but in a 12-month period, we've technically had 3 mayors.
right.
Absolutely.
Flanagan got voted out, and he got and Sutter got
does-
sworn in at the end of December, almost January.
He's
and
voted out.
November, the next November, which is only 11 months, we have a new mayor elect. So we've had turnover. Let's hope that the message that the people sent by changing mayors 3 times in less than a year, and putting in 3 new city councilors, even though 2 of those seats are open, there are 3 new councilors there, that maybe this is a sign that the people are beginning to wake up. They haven't woken up totally because it still becomes a semi-popularity contest, because if you look at those names, they all have political alliances. If you look at Pam LeBeau, she has the Neighborhood Association alliances. Sean Kadim's a product of the city's own propaganda.
Former
Because
city
when he was the city
administrator.
administrator, they made him the second coming of Christ as the city administrator. They said that this guy was like the greatest numbers guy in the history of the world.
I said on
You
this
know?
show that was a horrible choice.
Yeah, I mean, he's no Alan Silva. Let's put it this way. And the fact is that, but he's a product of the propaganda mill. And then you look at Cabaceres. Cabaceres has got tremendous propaganda too. Cliff Pont's got money. He's well connected. He's articulate. They get their chance. So the jury's out on what they're going to do. We can speculate and say if you don't learn from history, you're doomed to repeat it. But what they've got to look at is recent history. The city has proven they're waking up. Every election, we get more and more people out.
34.6.
Okay, let's get to, let's move forward. And it's after January, they've all been sworn in. What do you think are going to be the main issues they'll have to face?
Money.
But in what respect?
Money, contracts,
Well,
public
money,
safety.
they've got all the collective bargaining agreements they've got to negotiate.
All right, and that's
They've
coming
got-
up next year?
And they've got a projected shortfall already.
Now, do they actually negotiate the contracts, or they just approve?
No, they
don't
well,
even approve
they're
all of them.
They're supposed to negotiate. I don't know what they do now, but
Right.
they're supposed to negotiate. They are in negotiations, and I don't know, who they're going to do it with now. But Flanagan basically gave away the farm when he was in. But there's a projected shortfall in this budget already. Now that projection may get even worse as we go along because the collection fees are not coming in. The bag revenue isn't coming in. who knows what other projections they made that aren't going to come in.
We have magic money, though.
Yeah, we have magic money.
I'm still not convinced our tax rate is going to be certified.
No, and that hearing is actually next Tuesday, and I requested that South Coast Media and Spindle City Straight Talk staff be allowed to testify at that hearing.
And
'Cause
where's that
normally,
hearing going to take
I'm not
place?
sure where it's being held. I'm waiting right now for the
Is that
Department
going to
of
be in
Revenue.
Boston?
It will probably be held right here at Government Center.
That's
Public-
usually
public?
in the council
Yeah,
chamber.
in the council chamber.
all right.
But normally they don't allow public input. They allow input from the city administration, the
It's the-
amazing director of finance. I don't have that answer. I'll be
Well,
back in 10 minutes.
So the people that will appear before DOR will be the people that are in office now, people with
Mm-hmm. Correct.
jobs there now.
Yeah, our financial team,
And-
Mo, Larry, and Curly.
And the thing is that if they fund the enterprise fund account with taxpayer dollars, they have just converted the sanitation fee and the pay-as-you-throw
Tax.
to a tax. Thereby, the city has violated Prop 2.5, and that money has to come back to the taxpayer.
And the city,
Well, I mean-
the city administrator has said more than once that that is the projected plan.
Right.
So what is the apartment fee? Is it the apartment charge? Is it a fee or a tax?
Well, it's going to depend on what they use it for.
According to case law,
Well, a fee, as you know, and we all know, is if you have a dog, you go down, you get the license, you pay a fee. You want to go fishing, you pay a fee, you get the license, you stick it on your hat. Now, can I go down and tell the city I don't want to pay this fee?
Yeah.
You can apply
See,
for an abatement.
it's an optional, but you can apply, you can also privatize, you
Right.
don't have to pay. So in that respect, they've protected themselves, but
From
what they
being
use
an
the money
actual
for
tax.
can then make it a tax.
right.
See, that's the key. The key is if when they go to DOR, they say, we're gonna use the revenue from this for something that's not considered, appropriate, and it becomes a tax, then it becomes a tax, then they have violated the mandate of 2.5. They have overtaxed the people.
Okay,
And that's
let's,
the issue we're at. And there is case law in Massachusetts on this, in that if a fee is assessed by a community, a city or town, okay, that fee must be assessed on a service provided by the city or town that the end user can opt out of or obtain from an outside vendor. Otherwise, it's a mandated tax.
all right.
And this is the thing that we've been saying. But I think one of the bigger problems in this is the fact that the people in Fall River have been spoiled for so many years because we have provided the trash fee. Trash to be taken care of. Because we agree, we pay our taxes, we demand services.
Well, that's usually the case. You pay
Right.
the taxes to get the services.
Exactly.
And this has gone a little topsy-turvy in a sense because, and it's hurt incumbent mayors, actually. It's caused their demise.
Right.
Their inability to be reelected. People don't understand these additional, whether you want to call it a tax or a fee. They're used to paying their taxes and having the trash picked up, period. So allowing them to talk about taxes or fees, whether it's for the apartment or bags, is not a good idea.
Well,
Now let's get over to the
Okay.
school committee.
Ooh.
What do we have there?
No significant
No
change.
surprise there.
Yeah.
Robert
Paul-
Maynard and Paul Hart,
Go on.
strike 3 out, replaced by Paul Coogan and Edward Costa.
No change?
Well,
Two changes,
that-
yeah.
that's
Well-
big change.
Big change there. Edward Costar is a,
He knows where the bodies are buried.
he knows where all the bodies are
He
buried.
knows where the bodies are buried.
So he's
As-
going to be independent?
Yeah, Ed is he has principles. He's going to do what he feels is right. I think he's going to be another in the mold of Joe Martin's, an independent guy.
Stick in your eye?
Yeah, kind of like, hey, he's going to take his position. He's going to base it on some facts,
Could
and
be a tag team there?
I don't know,
Could
but
be.
I think he's going to be a force to be reckoned with.
And
on the school
I think what's
committee.
going to happen is you're always going to see it 4-2 as usual. Okay, you're going to see Paul Coogan, Melissa Panchley, Mont Costa, and the mayor all voting on the same thing. I will say one thing, though.
Let me ask you this. You say the mayor. All right. we
The
got-
new mayor.
the new
Jason,
mayor. You
correct.
think he's going to actually be the chairman of the school
Ab-
committee?
He is.
Absolutely.
He is by
But-
charter.
No, but didn't we have an
Look, Flanagan said he didn't want
No.
to be, but I believe Mayor-elect
They-
Correa has
they-
said he
they
wants
will
to be.
Absolutely.
And anyways, it's required by charter.
It is.
So there's no way around that. But I think what's going to happen here is, because we've seen these people, how their votes go. They always fall in line.
Okay, name those people again, please.
Melissa Panchley, Mont Costa, and in this case, I think you'll see that happen with Paul Coogan because of Paul Coogan's background and his past. I think you're going to see those three people fall in line with whatever the mayor offers. Now, with this new mayor,
Let me ask you this question now. There's a person in the school department, a Coogan, too.
yes,
There's a whole bunch
There's
of
a whole
people,
bunch of
a whole
Coogans.
bunch of Coogans in the school department.
Coogans and
Well,
Longs.
there's one that makes the presentation. And
The CO, the
Yeah, that's Tom Coogan.
CFO or COO.
COO.
will there be any type of
operating.
conflict?
Of course there
Well,
will.
There
of course
will
there
be.
will be. And I think a few of the wives are principals, too. But I have to kind of disagree with CJ on that voting.
Yeah,
I think if Meg Mayo Brown's contract comes up, I'm going to make a prediction here. I think you're going to see Edward Costa,
Gabe Andrade.
Gabe Andrade.
Gabe Andrews not
Joe-
on.
Yes, he is.
No.
Gabe Andrade is in.
Yeah, he's in.
Yes, he absolutely is.
Oh, okay. I thought he wasn't. All right. No, you're right.
All right, so you're going to see, as I said, you're going to see Joe Martins, Ed Costa, and Gabe Andrade vote against
Yes.
Meg Mayo Brown's contract.
Right.
And you're going to see Melissa Panchley and
Mark
Mark
Costa.
Costa vote for it.
Right.
And then if it gets there, if the mayor may become the deciding vote, because I'm not sure if Mr. Coogan, if he knows the vote's going to go the other way, if he won't vote in the prevailing side for political reasons.
Right.
But the fact is, it could be a 3-3 vote with our new mayor being put in the hot seat as a deciding vote on the superintendent of schools right out of the
And
get-go.
what do you think? Which way do you think
Well,
he'll go?
I will-
Unless her contract is supposed to be renewed in December.
It is.
And if they fail to delay that, to try to ramrod it through, that's going to be a real horror show.
Okay, one other thing is
Because here's
that
the thing. The mayor-elect did say that he's asking the school committee and the current mayor to postpone any new contracts across the board
All right, that's
until he comes into office.
now
It's too short a period of
The
time.
mayor-elect, as far as I know,
A wise move.
he said that he's going to take a $30,000 pay cut.
So he said, yeah.
25, 30.
Okay, let's start. Dan, congratulations. I want to let everybody know Dan Robillard made the Charter Commission. Let's give him
Thank you, Richard.
a little
Congratulations, Dan.
on that part. We got someone on a panel show who's going to be the watchdog over that Charter Commission. Good. Okay, welcome back, everybody, and
Welcome back
we'll
to
see
you, Richard.
Yeah, I was.
We'll see you. We'll see you.
We'll be back.
I was,
Yeah, we'll be back
I was
shortly.
in Siberia for a while.
We've been there.
We'll be back.
Okay, CJ, Bob, Dan, thank you, and
Thank you,
we'll
Richard.
be back. The panel show will be back in 3 weeks, every 3 weeks. Thank you out there for watching, and I'll see you next time.